Chuck Edwards, 33 to 32%. So just a 1-point percentage there. We talked about this yesterday. Madison Cawthorn has really had a lot of negative headlines lately. I think those hurt him. On districts, I think that hurt him as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1,400 votes. He almost pulled it out. He had Trump's endorsement. But at the end of the day, he left his own district to announce he was running in a different one and then came back. This was a self-inflicted, self-created wound that he made. So, I thought there was a chance that he could, overcome that deficit with that plurality, but it just came up short. And,
were you surprised he came out with a concession speech so quickly?
I was. 1,400 votes. I mean, I just don't know the district well enough to know whether or not they have enough. But I mean, he's got to know his district well enough, and I think he wanted to do the graceful thing. He's young. He's 26. So, I think he looked at this and said, hey, I've got a future in this area. I don't want to look like a sore loser.
All right. And finally, the Idaho governor's race. Incumbent Governor Brad Little beat Trump-backed Lieutenant Governor Janice McCutcheon 53 to 32. And we talked about this earlier in the week. I'm not polling on this one. So I think maybe people were shocked how big of a divide it was there. Obviously, McCutcheon had Trump's endorsement there, and it just wasn't enough.
It's never enough of a problem. This is a personal thing with President Trump and the governor, but I don't think that the residents there saw the state. The state was doing well and said, hey, we're not going to change horses for no reason. But we talked a lot about endorsements, mostly Trump's. But Biden has made some endorsements as well. The first one he made actually was in Oregon. He endorsed Congressman Kurt Schrader for governor there. Schrader is now on track to lose by a lot. There's only 36% reporting so far because Oregon is a completely mail-in state. Every ballot is done, so it does take a little while for some of those to get counted. But with 36% in, he only has 38.7% of the vote. His opponent, Jamie McLeod Skinner, a far-left progressive squad type, has 61% in. This is a big tell for where the Democratic Party is. And if we look at Pennsylvania, some really interesting stats coming out of there. With 95% of precincts reporting, Republicans have higher turnout than Democrats for the first time since 2012. Republican turnout was 75% higher than it was in 2018. Unbelievable. And Democrats technically still outnumber Republicans in the state by 500,000 people in terms of registration. But you got to say, seeing all those numbers, the momentum is on the Republican side heading into a general.
Absolutely. People are energized. The economy is a huge part of that. And you look at the last year and a half, not a lot of great things have happened for Democrats. No surprise there that Republicans are juiced up and wanting to get out. I do want to get into the two big Pennsylvania races. Obviously, a lot of attention on those. The Senate race in the Keystone State is still too close to call. Right now, it's down to Dr. Mehmet Oz and Dave McCormick, who are tied, by the way, at 31%. But Oz is holding the lead when it comes to votes with 414,707, and McCormick with 412,983, and Kathy Barnett at a distant third with 25%. And then on the Democratic side, Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman beat Congressman Connor Lamb, the more moderate there, 59% to 26%. And by the way, he was having a pacemaker put in yesterday. So an interesting story that we'll have to continue to follow.
Yeah, I want to just kind of break through where we are, right? So there's three kind of outstanding buckets of votes. You've got military and overseas ballots, votes. Those have to be in by Saturday. They still count, right? Those will happen by Saturday. You've got provisional ballots, meaning somebody showed up and said, my name's not...
Stand by, sir.
Thank you.
The wrong location. They're still allowed to vote. Those are set aside. They're called provisional ballots. They're going to be counted in the next few days. And then you have the absentee ballots. And what happens in a lot of places is the machines failed. There were technical problems. They didn't have the staff to count them. So those are going to continue to come in the hour. You just put that vote count up there. That's very, very tight. Tens of thousands of still votes that have to be counted. McCormick is very pleased with the way they're breaking. But if it's less than 0.5%, they go to a recount. We'll know that by next Tuesday. But literally, this is going to be hour by hour for the next few days. And I expect potentially some lead changes.
Well, we'll be watching it. Now let's go to Pennsylvania governor's race. Trump endorsed State Senator Doug Mastriano, who beat Lou Barletta 44 to 20%. And Mastriano will now face off against Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro. And Senator Mastriano, he joins us now. Senator, congratulations on your big win last night. So Democrats spent actually a lot of money supporting you in ads this cycle. In fact, they actually spent more money than you spent on yourself. It looks like they wanted you to be the nominee because they thought that maybe it would be easier to beat you in November. What do you say to that?
Thank you, and thanks for having me. I'm operating off of just a couple hours sleep, so I hope I'm coherent right now. But they're conflicted because in November, the Democrat Legislative Campaign Committee admitted to Political Magazine or Political, whatever they are, that they did not want to have Josh Shapiro running against me. But now we're seeing they're spending money pushing me. I wonder if they're just disconnected from the people of Pennsylvania. They're saying I'm too close to Trump, that I want to protect life, that I want to have voting integrity. I just wonder if they're disconnected. Because my wife and I have been barnstorming the state here for a long time, many years actually, personally meeting about 40,000 people. And we have our hand on the pulse of Pennsylvania. And the Pennsylvanians, they want to have, the greatness back, the prosperity back, voting integrity back. So I honestly believe the Democrats are conflicted.
Senator, I want to get to the money part of this. Been involved in campaigns for a long time. You need money. Pennsylvania is a big state. You raised just over $1.6 million, give or take. Your Democratic challenger in the general election, Josh Shapiro, ran unopposed. He was able to raise $20 million, and he enters the general election with $16 million on hand. In 2018, the governor's race cost $64 million between the two. Current Governor Wolf spent $31 million. Wagner raised 22. In 2014, it was actually $82 million. The question is, can you raise the money necessary to be competitive this year?
Sean, I do believe we'll raise what we need. Let me put it in perspective here. So one of the candidates was backed by a lot of dark money in this primary. He spent $16 million. Much of it was used to attack me. We actually spent about $2 million, all told and said, in the past couple of weeks here. And so I was outspent about 8-1, and he finished a far third, 3 times less behind me at around 15%. The establishment was concerned that I would win with just about 28% of the vote. I won with a resounding 44% of the vote, based off of my integrity, based off of running a clean campaign, based off of actually being the only guy in the gubernatorial campaign to fight for the people for the past 2 years, not just with voting integrity, but also during the shutdown and leading the reopen movement and what have you. So I don't know that Josh can spend enough money here to overcome the optics. The left suffers from, and the media, from the this thing of transference. They blame me for something that they suffer from. They say I'm far right, but actually I'm pretty mainstream. I'm a retired Army colonel, had a top secret security clearance for 30 years. If there's anything extreme about me, I would not have access to the nation's most sensitive secrets. And it's actually their party and Josh Shapiro and John Fetterman, who are radical far leftists here, that want to drag this country and our state into socialism.
Race is too close to call between Oz and McCormick, but whoever wins, are you prepared to back that winner?
Hell yes. Look, and so I'm in the middle of this right here on the gubernatorial side. So we had a pretty contentious race. Like I said, I did not spend a cent attacking, my opponents, and there was 8 other folks on the ballot. In the end, the people said Doug Mastriano is the guy for the governor race. And many of the candidates called me up and said, we're standing with you. Let us know how we can help. It's the same thing in the Senate race there. We need to coalesce behind whoever the people pick and push forward, because so much more is at stake than personal egos and what have you. We have to stand together. As Benjamin Franklin said in Philadelphia in 1776, if we don't hang together, we'll hang separately. So I'm going to hang together with the rest of my party.
Obviously, she's not winning in this race. She said she wouldn't back either of these people. Is that going to be a problem?
I don't know. I haven't even spoken to Kathy, sadly. We're personal friends with Kathy Barnett. We've campaigned with her. We've known her for 4 years. She helped me kick off my heartbeat bill introduction in 2019, one of the first pieces of legislation I introduced. And her story is so pro-life because she was conceived and raped when her mom was 11 years old, raped by a 20-year-old guy. And so we stand with Kathy. But, in the end, we're gonna fight for whoever wins in the end, the people of Pennsylvania picked.
Okay, and have to leave it there. Senator Mastriano, appreciate your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, coming up, the Republican primary for thank you, sir. All clear.
Thank you.
We've been talking about.
I hope I was coherent. There was an interview I did a couple hours ago. I was literally in it, just took a nap. And I got a text reminding me that I had a hit, like in a half hour. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and that was with Dan Ball on OAN, great guy. I'm going to have to listen to it to see if I made any sense. I felt like I was in a comatose state coming out, still waking up here. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube and on Facebook here. Rebby and I are just so thankful for you guys. Please keep us in prayer. We do need prayer continuously. And, it was a long, hard fight, and we're about to enter. We've actually already entered into the next phase. And I'm only in this because I believe that together with you guys, we can win. If I didn't think there was a chance of winning, obviously I wouldn't be in it. But I honestly believe we're going to win in November 8th. And I know that the odds are stacked against us. And so it was, they said during the primary. You remember the 5 or 6 caucuses they had around the state, and none of them endorsed me. And, I was like, crap, what's going on here? And I know many of the people in state committee, personally. I was like, wow, got hardly any support. But the people had the last say. And on November 8th, the people of Pennsylvania will have the last say. And Josh Shapiro is Mr. Shapiro is too far left. He's a radical socialist leftist. He's protected by the Inquirer, which absolutely adores him. I've read some other pieces by that one young man that is absolutely infatuated with him and can't even think enough to give us a fair shake. And I get it. They will write hit pieces on us based off of hyperbole and metaphors that are not even true, but the people get to say in the end. And thank God we don't have to rely upon the traditional media anymore. That I can talk directly to you as I'm doing right now, and we have alternative media outlets as well. And where I find honest people willing to give us a fair shake, I'll talk to the traditional media. But if they're peddling in hate speech against people's faith, against people's religion, or any other hate speech and bigotry, I won't participate with those media outlets. And so I got a call from one of them today. Why won't you talk to us? Are you serious? Read the stuff you wrote about me? Are you kidding me? I mean, we don't need them. And they've become so marginalized. So anyway, thank you guys. I got another hit at 7:00. I think that's the last one. I hope so. And thank you for bringing us here. God is good. We won with a resounding victory of almost 45% of the vote. And they told us the establishment said Mastriano would win with only 28% of the vote. They're trying to belittle our movement. And in a 9-person race, 9 people were on the ballot. I don't care what they did, if they hopped out last couple days ago or not. It's irrelevant. 9 names are on the ballot, and we have an unprecedented 44%, almost 45% of the vote won. I'll have to check the latest stats on that. It's incredible. Dick Thornburgh won in 1978, the last election that looked like this one here in 1978, with only 33% of the vote. And he went on to he was a great governor, had 2 terms. Tom Ridge, also 1994, I think he won with 35% of the vote. And we, look what we did. Thank you guys. Thank you for making this possible. Democrat Party has become so radical and so extreme leftist. That's why they're boosters and cheerleaders in the traditional media. Like, they want to call people like me, far right. There's nothing far extreme about me. And they need to knock that crap off. That's bull crap. And I'm sick and tired of the lies. And I don't stand for it. And so if they're going to peddle in hate and bigotry, that they have no place with my campaign. They're not welcome. So, William Penn founded our state after he suffered persecution, for about 30 years for his Christian faith. He was chastised and laughed at publicly. He was put in jail 3 times for his Christian faith. And he founded Pennsylvania as a place where people can live without suffering that kind of ridicule. That's why when you go to some of our counties like Lancaster, it's such a beautiful blend there. That's a glimpse into William Penn's dream. But the media today they're okay mocking people's sincerely held beliefs, and I don't stand for it, and I come against them, and that is such anti-constitutional behavior, making fun of people, trying to paint us in a certain picture here, and so we all need to call them out for that, and they should not be subscribed to or supported because of their deep hatred and their intolerance and bigotry towards people they disagree with. It's repugnant, and it's not American. Thank you, guys. Love you. Hope you have a great night. I might go live on my next hit in 45 minutes. We'll see. Still trying to wake